Hello everyone and welcome to SimpliCode's YouTube channel. Kaushal this side and I hope you guys are doing well. Today, we'll be taking you through CSS Flexbox. Flexbox is one of the most important topics when it comes to CSS layouts. We have been through CSS layouts in the previous video, so if you guys haven't checked that video yet, please go through it and it will be easy for you guys to understand what CSS Flexbox is. So before we begin, let me tell you guys that we have regular updates on multiple programming videos. So if you are a programmer and if you want to learn something new, then consider getting subscribed to our YouTube channel and press that bell icon to never miss any updates from SimpliCode. So without any further delay, let's get started. CSS layouts. We have been through this topic in the previous videos. And we already know there are certain methods to lay off things on a web page. We can lay out different items present on a web page with the help of different CSS properties. In the previous video, we used CSS positioning, we used some other properties as well, like we have been through an example of Flexbox, we have been through an example of grid items, and a lot of more properties were there. So what Flexbox is? What is actually Flexbox? So Flexbox is a one-dimensional layout method for arranging items row-wise or column-wise. Items flex, or we can say expand, to fill additional space, or they can shrink as well if we are using the CSS Flexbox property. So in this video, we are going to see how CSS Flexbox work and how important it is if you want to lay out different HTML items on a web page. So let's start. Let's understand why we use Flexbox. So before Flexbox was introduced in CSS, the only reliable cross-browser compatible tools available for creating CSS layouts were some features, like we have used the float feature where we have to use values like float to the left, float to the right, and it's quite a tedious task to use such properties. Then we have CSS positioning as well. CSS absolute positioning, relative positioning, stick around, and a lot of CSS properties. Right, so positioning also has a lot of values, but it's quite hard. But in some ways they are also limiting and frustrating to the user. So there are certain aspects, because of them we use CSS Flexbox. So it's hard to vertically center a block of content inside its parent. That's why we use Flexbox. You guys will understand it when we'll go through the programming part. So let's understand what CSS Flexbox is and how it actually works. So this is the image. So here you can see we have a container. This is known as the flex container where we align our items. Then we have certain items, flex item 1, flex item 2, flex item 3. This is only for an example. So what flex items are? Any content or any element we are using in the HTML within the container. So anything which is used inside the container, flex container, is called as flex item. So a flex item can be an image, it can be a block, it can be anything, right? So whatever we want to lay out, whatever we want to position on the web page is known as flex item. So we can use Flexbox in two different ways. We can use them either row wise or column wise. So here is an example of how we can align items row wise. So if we are aligning items row wise, or we can say horizontally, then the main axis is going to be the horizontal axis or the x-axis. Fine. And if we are aligning the items vertically, then the main axis will be vertical axis, or we can say the y-axis. So here you can see we have the main axis here, we have the cross axis here. This is for the flex box, or we can say flex container. And this is the area where the main starts and the cross starts and cross ends. So we can define the main area and the cross area of any flex box. So that's enough of the theory. Let's move to the programming part directly and you guys will understand it much better. So let's take an example first. Fine. We'll go through different properties like the justify content, the align items. These two properties are the most widely used properties with CSS Flexbox, and with these properties you can align any item anywhere within the Flexbox or the web page. Fine, let's add some content over here on the web page. So we are going to use a div class. So let's use the name as f item. Fine. So it depends. It totally depends on us which class name we are using. There's nothing to do, like we don't have to use f item or flex items every time. So we can use any class of our choice. So let's say this is an item. Then we will add some items over here. So let's say this is box 1. This is box, okay, box 2. Then we have box 3 as well. Let's name them. Then we have box 4 as well, and we have box 5 at the end. Fine, so we have 5 different boxes. Or let's do one thing. Let's just take an example of 4 boxes. Fine, so we have 4 items over here. So these are the 4 HTML elements we have. These are all our divisions. Then we will add another div tag over here for the container. So we'll write over here div class is f container or flex container. So actually the full form of Flexbox is flexible box. So you might get this question whenever you are going through MCQ or any such sort of thing, where whenever you are asked what is the full form of CSS Flexbox, so it is flexible box. Now save it. You can see nothing changed. So what we can do is we'll move to the CSS part directly. For that we are going to use the style tag. So you guys can use a different style sheet, but right now we are using this because we don't have to code too much, we don't have to style too much. That's why we are using the inline CSS. So now what we'll do is we'll use both the class. So we'll write over here f container. This is one of our class, and the second class we are going to use is the f item class. Fine. So let's style these items first. Fine. So we are going to write here border is going to be, let's say, 2 pixels solid. And which color we should use? Let's use aqua. No, let's use black only for border. So here you can see we have the borders for all the boxes. Now we can use the background color. So background color, these all are basic CSS properties. You guys are pretty well aware of them, right? So let's use this color, yellow green. Let's use margin. Margin is going to be 5 pixels for each box. So here you can see the margin is 5 pixels. So these are the boxes we have, or these are the items we have, flex items. Now the time has come when we are going to implement the flex property. We don't have to do much of thing. So go to flex box. So this is a box. Let me just do one thing. Let me just include a border for the box as well. So for the box we are going to use 1 pixel solid black. Save it, and here you can see this is the flex box. If I increase the size, and here you can see we can also, what we can do, we can also include height and width properties either within the flex items or within the flex container. It totally depends on us. So this time we are going to use the flex property here. Display is going to be flex. So the display is the property, flex is the value. Remember this. Save it, and here you can see now. So all the boxes are aligned horizontally. Why so? Now the main axis is going to be this axis from here till here. So what we can do is we can use some other properties as well. Let's use a height property for this one to make it easier for you guys. 45 VH. VH is the viewport height for container, and we haven't used the height property within the item, so we are going to use height over here, 20 pixels, and width is going to be 20 pixels again. Save it. So 20 pixels is quite small. Let me use 100. Save it. And here you can see we have the 4 boxes. So all the four boxes are here on the left hand side. Now what we can do is we can either use the justify content or we can use the align items property. It totally depends on us. So just right here justify contents, and here you can see we have a lot of properties. So if we want them to let me just show you. If we want all the boxes to shift towards the right, what we have to do is we just have to write here flex end. Save it and increase the size. So here you can see all the boxes are aligned to the right. Fine. Same goes for align items. Justify content, do it horizontally, and align items, do it vertically. So if I write here align items at the center, save it, and you can see all the items are aligned at the center. So let me just comment this line for now so that it will be easier for you guys to understand. Save it, increase the size, and here you can see the items are aligned at the center of a flexbox of a container. Basically, this is the container and these are the items. So this is how easy it is to align items, or we can say to lay out the structure with the help of CSS Flexbox. So this is the container over here and these are the items. So there are different properties with for CSS Flexbox. The first one we are going to discuss is the flex direction property. So if I include here flex direction, what flex direction will do is it will either use I click on column, save it, you can see all the boxes are aligned vertically now. That's how we can use identify the flex direction. Now the main size is going to be this and the cross size is going to be this. Cross size will be horizontal and main size will be vertical. That's how easy it is to use Flexbox. We can use other properties as well. So if I write here row, or we can say let's do it with row reverse first, then we'll do with column reverse as well. If I save it, you can see box 1 starts from the right side and goes on towards left. So this is box 1, then box 2, then box 3, then box 4. Fine, same goes for column reverse as well. If I write here column, save it, and here you can see box 1 is at the bottom, 2, 3 and 4 are on the top, stacked over one another. So this is how the flex box property actually works. Now I'm going to comment this line as well. Save it. And here you can see we have all the 4 boxes present over here on the left hand side, aligned at the center. The next property we are going to discuss is the flex wrap property. Now the flex wrap property specifies whether the flex items should wrap or not. So what we are going to do is we are going to add some more boxes. Fine, copy it. We have 12 boxes now. Save it. And here you can see all the 12 boxes are here, 3, 6, 9 and 12. What if I include 2 or 3 more boxes? Let's do it. See, the size will decrease, but the boxes will stay there. If I just show you, inspect elements from here, if I show you. So yeah, here we have, let's just use this, increase the size. So here you can see if I'm increasing the size, here you can see this is the whole viewport width. Now if I'm decreasing the size, and you can see the boxes shrink. This is how it makes the flexbox property makes the boxes or the items adjustable according to the screen size. So here you can see if I'm decreasing the size, it's not going beyond that because I guess I have used the height property here. Let me just comment this as well. Save it now. Go back here. You can see we can shrink the size as much as we want, the height as much as we want. The boxes will adjust themselves according to what we can say screen size. Let me just do one thing. Let me comment this line as well. And then we'll see what happens. Save it. And here you can see now we have all the boxes. Now try to shrink it, and yeah, you can see they are adjusting themselves, but they are adjusting themselves up to a certain level, up to certain extent. For that we have to use either @media rule or some other CSS properties. So this is the output of our program for now. So let me just undo some things, and yeah, we are good to go. So here you can see we have all our boxes over here. Now the flex wrap property, as we already mentioned, it specifies whether the flex items should wrap or not. So how we can use the flex wrap property? Just go to the container and write here flex wrap. It has different values. It can be no wrap, wrap reverse, right? So let's write wrap, save it, and here you can see it's wrapped. Fine. So it's because of the height it's showing like this. Let me just comment this line. Let me just remove the viewport height, and now you will see it's aligning, right? The boxes are wrapped. They are all wrapped perfectly. All the boxes are present within the flex container. Let me just go to inspect element once more, and we are going to check it for different screen sizes. So here you can see the boxes are aligning now. So this is what the flex wrap property can do. This is the maximum size. All the boxes are here. If I reduce the size slowly, you can see all the boxes are adjusting themselves according to the size of our screen. Until here, all the boxes are still within the flex container. Fine. So here you can see all the boxes. Now let me just go back to the program. We have different values for align, we can say flex wrap. If I write here no wrap instead of wrap, save it now. And here you will see, if I decrease the size, the boxes are not wrapped anymore. Fine. See, here you can see they are all wrapped. And if I reduce the size, see the flex container is here and the box is out of the container. Now we have the wrap reverse value as well. The wrap reverse value specified that the flexible items will wrap if necessary or in reverse order. Fine. So just write here wrap reverse, save it. Yeah. So you can see all the boxes are wrapped, but the order is different, right? So here you can see if I reduce the size of this window, you can see box 3, box 2, box 4, box 3, box 4, box 1, box 2. They are wrapped according to, so here how it starts 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. They are wrapped in reverse order. Fine. So here you can see we have 3 4 at the end. We can also name them 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 and 12. Let's remove all the boxes, and here you can see we have only 3 boxes now. So let me just create another one quickly and I'll name it as box 4. Fine. So here you can see we have all the 4 boxes wrapped in reverse order because of the wrap reverse property. We don't need this property anymore. So let's comment this as well. I hope you guys are doing this with me because it's easy if you are trying to do it by yourself. Fine. So the next property we are going to discuss is going to be the flex flow property. So this flex flow property is a shorthand property for setting both the flex direction and flex wrap. If you don't want to use use 2 different properties for the same, you can use just one, flex flow. This property, if we are going to write here flex flow, so here you can see all the properties here. Flex flow, we can write here column and then reverse. So column defines the direction, reverse defines the what we can say wrap. Save it, and here you can see all the items are here. They are reversed and they are in column view. Fine. The direction is column. Now again, the next property we are going to discuss is the justify content property. We have already discussed this property, but justify content, what justify content does is it aligns the item horizontally. Fine. Save it. And here you can see nothing changed because the flex flow is column. Let me just comment this particular piece of code from here, save it now. And here you can see, if I increase the size of my browser, they all are adjusted towards the right hand side. That's because we have used flex set. We can do the same for flex start. Flex start is basically default, so we are not going to use it right now. So this is how we can use the justify content property. Similarly, we have the align items property as well. So this is the align item property. Right now you can see all the items are aligned at the center. So here you will not be able to see it because of this. Let me just include the height property here for the flex container. Now you can see the items are aligned at the center. What if we want to bring all the items at the center of this whole flex container? Just do 2 things. Instead of flex end, write here center for justify content, save it. Now increase the size and let's see. So all the items are present at the center. So the Flexbox property is very useful if you are using CSS for laying out different HTML elements on the web page. So this is how we can use the Flexbox property. There are different properties. In the next video, we are going to discuss CSS grid property, which is also very important property when it comes to CSS layouts. And in the upcoming videos, definitely we'll go through the difference between CSS Flexbox and CSS grids. So they both are important and they both are useful in different ways. So that's it, guys. This is all we have in CSS Flexbox. If you guys have any questions related to any of the topics we covered in this particular video, then please feel free to drop them down in the comment section below, and we'll definitely try to answer your question as soon as possible. So I want you guys to do it by yourself and let us know if you find any difficulty or if you find something new, so that we can also learn from you. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much and subscribe to SimpliCode.